Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's a dagesh forte. So if you remember from the lesson, if I add the men directly to a word, like the word for horse is sus, men sus, the noon assimilates and becomes a doubling dot in the samic here, and it becomes missus. Okay, so it's mem, kirik, and dagesh forte in the first letter of the word it's attached to. If there's a guttural right here, then it'll reject the guttural. The guttural will reject the dagesh forte, and then the kirik will become a sere. It will compensatorily lengthen. So we'll see some examples of that in your homework here. So let's look at the Chapter 8 homework, and we'll look at Section A. Are there any questions that you have about this that we can walk through? Let's look at number 15 here. So we have the men, right? So what is the word for man, first of all? Ish. And if I want to make that plural, what does ish become? You would think ishim, but do you remember ish is irregular in its plural form? Yes, it becomes anashim. So I'm going to have to write anashim here. And where's the accent on anashim? It's on the final syllable, right? So I'm going to have the pre-tonic syllable is open and pre-tonic. It has to be long. So when I have anashim, that A's got to be a long A. And this would have been open and propertonic, and it's going to go to vocal shava. So that, and since aleph is a guttural, it takes a compound shava. So that's the way you learned how to say men, anashim, with a compound shava here. All right. Now I want to say the men. So what do I have to do? Add a hey. What should go under the hey? Normally I'm going to get a pathak. And what will go in the first letter? Well, what should go in the first letter? A dagesh forte. Will the aleph take it? Nope. It rejects the dagesh forte. And what will happen to the preceding short A-class vowel here to compensate for the loss of dagesh forte? It will compensatorily lengthen. Now, that's the way you should see it. Now, because that's a compound shava, remember, sometimes you'll see a metheg beside the vowel right before a compound shava. So I might have put a metheg in here. If I did, and you did, that's great. If I did and you didn't, I wouldn't count you off for it, because you still know that that's a long A, even without the metheg. It's on ha anashim. Ha anashim. So the men. So does that make sense, Sarah? All right. Good. Other questions? Let's look at number 5. So we have from the king. We'll slide that over just a little bit. So how do you say king? Melech. Good. What kind of a noun is that when I have two segols and a accent on first syllable? A segolet noun. That's right. Now, do I put the word from on this, or do I put the word the on it before? Which one goes first? Which one is attached first? The. Got to put the, which is hey. Under it is pathak. Inside the mem, dagesh forte. Ham melech, that's the king. And now add from. I told you there's 2 ways to do it. Let's do it the sissy way, the easy way. What's the easy way? Add min. And what goes in between min and hamelech? The makef. Say that with me. Makef. Makef. So that's one way to write number 5. Min hamelech, from the king. Everybody say that. Min hamelech. So that's the sissy way. What's the Marine Corps way? What's the hard way to do this? Yes. What's the process called where the noon is going to disappear and become a copy of the second consonant, or the consonant that it's next to? It's assimilating. That's right. So it would be as if I were writing the min directly in front here. Min hamelech. The noon will assimilate and become a doubling dot in the following consonant. Can I put a doubling dot in the hey? Mih hamelech. No, I can't. The hey is going to reject the dagesh forte, and the short kirik is going to compensatorily lengthen and become a sere. So it becomes meh hamelech. And that will all be written as one word, meh hamelech. Does the min swallow the hey? No way. Hose hey. We do not see the min swallowing the hey. So far, the only thing that swallows the hey is what? Bet, lamed, and kaf prepositions. Those are hungry, hungry, hungry. And they swallow the hay. All right, so meh hamelech. So that's my my Marine Corps way of attaching the min preposition from the king. Yes?
So for like your answer sheet, I guess for number 4, it had both ways?
Mm-hmm.
Or number 5, it just had the Marine Corps way?
Yeah.
So is there a reason for that?
No, maybe I got lazy on number 5. But I would like for you, for the purposes of doing the exercises, to do it the Marine Corps way, because you'll always be able to tell what the min is if you see the whole thing with the McCafe. So get used to how you see it when it's got the noon assimilated to the following consonant. So let's see. I think number 10, we have from a woman. Now, how do we say woman? Isha. And there's a doubling dot in that sheen. Isha. And if I want to add from, if we do it the sissy way, it's min plus, what's that bar called? Ma kaf. Ma kaf. Ma kaf. Ma kaf. All right, so min isha. Say that with me. Min isha. From a woman. Notice it's not the woman. If it were from the woman, it would be min ha isha. Right? Ha isha. Min ha isha. This is from a woman. Min isha. Now, Marine Corps way, what's it going to look like here? It should have been attaching the min directly. The noon of min will fall out, or it doesn't really fall out. It's supposed to become a doubling dot in the aleph. Can I put a doubling dot in an aleph? Nope. It's a guttural. It will reject the doubling, and the short kirik will compensatorily lengthen to a sere. So I get me isha. Me isha. And because the stress is on the final syllable, sha is tonic, ish is pretonic, me is open and propertonic. What does Hebrew usually do with open propertonic syllables? Syllables that become open and propertonic usually reduce to a vocal shava, right? Davar had a long A, but it becomes devarim. Well, I am not going to reduce the sere to a vocal shava, and I might see a metheg before that second syllable to remind you to not hurry over that sere and reduce it. We want that sere there. That sere is there to show you that this is the min preposition, okay? All right, so it's meisha. Again, this is one of those situations where the metheg is there to preserve a pronunciation, but it's not there to disambiguate any vowels. So if you didn't put it there, I'm not going to be upset about that. Can I have you look at number 11? The word for child So we got the plural for children here, but just think about the word child. What's the word child that you've learned? Yelled. Remember yelled. Yes. My mother yelled at me when I was a child. Accent is on the yod of yelled, because this is what kind of a noun? Segulate noun. Everybody say that with me. Segulate. It's a segulate noun. What happens to segulate nouns in the singular? Will they have a first syllable stress? In the singular, they have first syllable stress. When I make them plural and I add im or ot, what happens to the stress? It always goes to the end. Is yelled masculine or feminine? It's masculine. So what am I going to add to make it plural? Im. Very good. So yelled becomes yeladim. And since I'm going to lose my stress here, got to get rid of that. What happens to the two vowels under the first two consonants? They change, and which pattern do they follow? Which noun did we learn? Yeah, what was, there was a word that we said that it follows the same plural pattern of. It's the word davar. Davar. Davar is the word word. What does davar become in the plural? Devarim. Devarim. Okay? So what's going to be under the lamed? Kamat. So it's yeladim. Devarim, yeladim. All right? So yelad becomes yeladim. Yeladim is kids. That's right. All right. If we take the word servants, what's the word for servant? If we use eved, where's the stress? It's at the beginning. What kind of a noun is this? It's a segulate noun. When I make it plural, eved becomes evedim. And what will happen to my stress over here? It goes away, goes to the end. What happens to my double sigils? They become what? Under the ayin, vocal shava, kametz. Can I leave it like that? No. What's the problem here with a vocal shava? That's right. Ayin's a guttural. No vocal shavas under a guttural. What do they get instead of a vocal shava? A compound shava. And which one does it like? The one with the pathak, the sigol, or the kametz ketuf? It prefers A class, doesn't it? So we're going to get that. All gutturals like A class, if they can. That doesn't mean that it'll always be that. There'll be other reasons. But for now, whenever you need a vocal shava under a guttural, first instinct should be the pathak one. Okay? So it's avadim. Avadim. All right. Anybody have any other questions about these? Yes?
Not for like this class, but if you were to accidentally put the wrong vowel pointing under a consonant, would they like understand what you're saying? Just understand you spell it wrong?
Yeah, it would sound funny to them, but they'd probably be able to figure it out. Yeah, like if you said something like eved and then you said evedim, it would sound silly to them, but they'd know. Oh, it's like, when a child learns the past tense of verbs. So, you would say something like, I don't know, they learn I ride and I rode, right? And then maybe they would say, I go and I goed, I throw and I throwed, right? You know what they're doing, but it's not the right pattern. It's cute, though. What's that? Throwed is not right. It's threw, yeah? I threw. But here, my family and I have this running joke. So I used to break dance when I was in high school and junior high. And so we've tried to figure out, how do you say, like right now, I break dance. I could say I am break dancing, but how do you say that in the past tense? Is it I broke danced? Is it I break danced? Because we used to say breaking as well, right? He's breaking. And so the past tense is, man, he broke. So, anyhow. Anybody have any final questions about the A section here? All right. If not, let's look at the B section. We have some translation exercises. There's a few more here than we've had in the past. Yeah, exciting. All right. What questions do you have? Yes.
I have like a general question. So like you know how some words could be translated to like two words, so like house or temple.
Mm-hmm.
So would that be kind of wrong if you put like
No. If there with these exercises, these are just isolated sentences, so you have absolutely no context, and so when there's no context, there's possibility for a lot of ways to translate something. Yeah, so if I ever have something in my answer key that doesn't exactly match what you've got, but from your vocab list you know that that's a possible meaning, make sure you ask in class so that we can just confirm that and make sure there's nothing weird about what you did. Now, when you're doing the preposition men, it'll usually be pretty clear. Oh, that's from someplace as opposed to some of, right? So like if I had a sentence like, he walked min ha'ir, that wouldn't mean he walked some of the city, right? That there it should be he walked from the city. But if I said something like, he gave him min ha, I'm trying to think of a word for food that you know. Fruit, pari, it's Hebrew, pari, min ha pari. That would mean he gave him some of the fruit. Okay. Is there any specific questions about these? Okay, so question about the monosyllabic nouns?
yeah. So the implied and virtual doubling, do you put the daggers 14 in there, or you don't because it's implied?
Okay, so for the monosyllabic nouns, if you have, depends on which consonants they are that are the last consonant of the word. So if you take a word like, we'll say Rav, for example, that's a monosyllabic noun and the vowel is changeable. So I have a Dagesh forte that wants to drop in there. Is there any reason why a bet can't take a Dagesh forte? Just look at the bet. Is there any reason a bet can't take a Dagesh forte? So if I want to make this plural, can I drop a Dagesh in the bet? Is that okay? Yes, because bet's not a guttural, right? So that's good. So this means much or many. But if I have a word like ach, which is brother, here I've got a Dagesh forte that wants to drop in when I add an ending like im for brothers, but can I put a Dagesh forte in a chet? No, because that's a guttural, right? Now, chet is one of the consonants that doesn't do compensatory lengthening when it rejects the Dagesh. It does imply doubling, which means this will stay short, and the chet is treated like it's doubled, and that means that the ach is a closed syllable. Ach, chim. It's just that you can't put a dot here because chets don't allow that. On the other hand, if I have the word evil, which is ra, and it has an ayin, and it's monosyllabic, and I add an im ending to it, I can't stick a Dagesh forte in this either, can I? Ayin is one of the consonants that when it rejects the Dagesh, it does cause compensatory lengthening. So this short A becomes a long A. All right. So which ones do virtual doubling and leave the short pathak or a short vowel? Hey and chet do virtual doubling. Resh, aleph, and ayin do compensatory lengthening. Okay? So that's basically the idea there. Let's take a look at number 1. Repeat after me. Ha-anashim v'hanashim b'Yisrael. So how would you translate this? Is this the women or the men first? This is the men and the women. Remember, nashim and anashim are almost identical, but it's longer here, right? Men are longer than women as a general rule. Okay, so the men and the women, b'Yisrael, are in Israel. Why did you add the word are? Yes, because me Tarzan. That's right. Yep. So, yeah, and we're adding the copula because we need to. There's no verb otherwise, right? So, are. Great. Is there an article that the bet has swallowed here? Nope. Because when I have the vocal shava, that's what I expect. Okay? No article swallowed. Next, everybody. Ha sefarim ba bayit. What's ha sefarim? It's the books. What's the lexical form, the glossary form or dictionary form you learned for this word? It's say fair, right? What kind of a noun is that? Yes, it's a segulate noun. Accents on the first syllable. Okay, usually double segol, but sometimes I could have other vowels. Notice what happened when it went plural. Am I still accenting that first syllable? Nope. It goes to the im pattern. Ha sefarim. So the what? The books. And remember, back in the ancient world, at this time in history, there were no codex books that were bound together on one edge like this. They were in the form of what? A scroll. So you could also translate this as the scrolls. Babayit? What's that? Are in. Are you sure it's the house? Yeah? What makes it look articular? Yes. Pathak here, and what else? The dagesh forte here. You see, this is a dagesh lene in the first bet. It's got to be a dagesh forte in the second. Why? Yes, the pathak before it exists, but it's still here. That means it's strong dagesh. That means that there's an article that got swallowed up here. So you're right. So the scrolls are in the house. That sounds like something that Dr. McNabb could rap. The scrolls are in the house. Okay, everybody. Halahu, ha'avadim, b'chokmah. Okay, so what's halahu mean? They walked or went. Good. Now, should I use the pronoun they, or do I have an overt subject that might be here? I have a subject. If I had a subject, it would have to be what number? Singular or plural? Plural. And do I have something plural? Yes. You see the im here? That's likely the subject. So who walked? Yeah, the slaves or servants walked or went. Probably walked here. B'chokmah. It's something wisdom. How can we translate the bait preposition here? It could be in wisdom or with wisdom. Both of those are appropriate ways to render that. So the servants walked in or with wisdom. Is there an article hiding in here? There is not. The bet has its normal vocal shava.
How often are we going to see the
The dual?
Yeah,
ending, the ayam ending. You won't see it as frequently. Almost always is used for things that come in natural pairs. So how frequently do you talk about things that come in natural pairs? Not a whole lot. But when you do, you'll expect it. Hands, yadayim. Yad becomes yadayim. Ears is ozen. For one ear, the plural is oznayim. Oznayim, ears. 2 ears. Oznayim. And then foot and leg is regel. And, well, plural would be rugalim, but the dual would be raglayim. Raglayim. Yep. So, good. All right. Look at number 6. Let's read this one together. Ready? Ha'am, al hanahar, ki hara'av, ba'adama. Okay. So we have ha'am. What's that mean? The people. Ha'am, the people. Notice that I've got a ha here. What is that ha? That's the article. It should be hey, pathak, doubling dot. What does ayin do with doubling dots? Rejects. Is ayin one of those gutturals that causes compensatory lengthening before it, or is it virtually doubled? It causes lengthening. That's why the short pathak has become a long kametz. Ha'am. Okay? What is all? What are some of the possibilities for the meaning of all? I think this was last chapter. By. That's probably the meaning here, but what else could it mean? It's usually spatial. On, over, above, on top of. So it's a spatial relationship of being higher than something. Now, unless you're like on a hoverboard, hovering above the water or the river, this is probably by the river as opposed to on top of the river, right? So you do have to think about possibilities and ask yourself, how likely is that translation gloss? So the people are al hanahar, probably at or by the river, and we have ki. How should we translate that? Because. Can I translate keys as that? I can, can't I? But what kind of a verb would I expect to be in the main clause? He said, ki, that. He heard, that. I know, that. Right? So verbs of hearing, speaking, communication, or perception. I perceived that. Then you would go with that for ki. Okay, but here, there's no such verb. So because is probably the sense here. So why are they at the river? Because hara'av, the what? The famine, ba'adama. The famine in the land. What am I missing here? I'm missing a copular verb. Is, are, was, were. Which one do I want here? Yeah, probably is if we're dealing with present time. So the famine is in the land. Now, is it in the land or in a land? It's in the land. This isn't too clear, so let me just make it clear. There's a kametz here under the bates. Okay? So what would it have looked like if it had been in a land? I'd have a vocal shiva followed by a compound shiva. Can I have those in the same sequence? No. What would happen? Yes. How many eyes does a compound shiva shoot out? Yes, it shoots out a compound of eyes, right? And replaces it with the short vowel of the compound shiva. So, in a land would have been ba with the pathak and adama. In the land is ba with a kametz because the article hey would have been ha, adama. Okay? Swallows the hay, leaves the kametz. So that's how you can tell the difference. Slight difference, but you can still see. So in the land. Alrighty. Let's see. Let's look at 8 real quickly. And here's this new word, tavich, in the form I told you about. Everybody, Adonai? Betoch ha'am. Hu v'huda. Okay. Adonai is the Lord or Yahweh. Betoch. Okay, good. We want to add is because there's no verb here. Is in toch. The midst of ha'am. The people or the nation. So the Lord is in the midst of the people. Who, he, bihuda, do I have a verb here? No, so I'm going to supply a copula again. He is, what's that word? That's in, that's the preposition bet. And where is he in? He is in Judah, Yehudah. Why do I have this strange kirik yod here if this is the preposition bet? Yes, this is called the yod quiescing, right? So it would have been b, Yehuda, Yehuda. 2 vocal shavas don't make a right, do they? What will happen here? The red writer, kick out one eye. This shava becomes silent. And when the shava becomes silent, this sounds like what? Bihuda. Bihuda. Well, may as well just quiesce and become a kirik yod again. Bihuda. And that's what we've got. Now, why do I not have a dagesh lene here in Vihuda? No, the yod quiesced, but this is a begat kefat letter. It should have a dagesh lene, shouldn't it? When does dagesh lene go away? If the begat kefat letter is preceded by a vowel or a vocal shava. Is there a vowel before that bet? There is. This aleph has quiesced. Is that what you meant, Sarah? That's what you meant, right? The aleph has quiesced because aleph is trying to close the syllable and aleph is a lousy closer. And when it quiesces, we don't pronounce it. And so there is a shurik right before the bet in terms of pronunciation. And that can cause the dagesh lene to fall out. Okay? If it weren't like that, then you would see a dagesh in the bet. Alrighty. We all happy? Yes, so if you have an open syllable right before a word, and it should have a dagesh lene and a begat kefat letter, it can go away. It really depends on whether, like in this situation, I have this athnak, which means it's a strong pause here, then I wouldn't just run right into the next syllable. So an open syllable here wouldn't cause a dagesh lene to go away in that situation. But here, that can happen. All right, good.